Part 2 of the September 15th reading. I got to fiddling with the camera because I was talking about some sensitive stuff, and I accidentally turned the camera off. So, I was saying, my employers helped me greatly in getting sober, and I just kept lying to them and lying to them, and they afforded me every opportunity to get sober on my own, and I kept slapping them in the face with it, just a new bag of lies every day, until finally I said, hey, we need to talk about this. We got to talking about it, and I said, I need to be locked up. I'm an alcoholic with no self-control any longer at all, and I need to get sober. I don't want to get sober, but I need to get sober. I'm going to die otherwise. And they let me go off to treatment. And one way they helped is they kept paying my wages while I was in treatment. And they said, your job will be here when you get back. Get better. We need you. And I thought, that's nice. It really didn't seem that important at the time. I had a lot of other stuff on my mind, right? I'd given up at least about a 14 beer a day habit. I used to drink a lot of beer. Because that's like on average 14, 6% by volume drinks a day, whatever proof that works out to. I don't remember anymore. I used to figure all that out, because I was a good alcoholic. It's like I want to make sure I'm getting the best bang for my buck, and like liquor and me, boy, that's a volatile combination. So as a mainstay, I just stayed intoxicated on beer, pretty much. Same thing with wine and me. It gets ugly fast, man. Whiskey and me, it doesn't mean I didn't try it and drink it. That's why I know. And it didn't prevent me from drinking more, right? And anyways, this whole thing, I tell these fine people that I used to work for, I'm an alcoholic. I need to get sober. I don't want to get sober, but I need to. Help me, please. And they let me go to treatment, kept paying my wages, assured me my job would be there when I get done. And that was wonderful. And I didn't have much to say to them at the time for saving my life. So let's see, now, how does this fit into a new life? Well, right there, I guess. Like I said, I had this daily habit of ingesting way too much alcohol. In part 1, I was mentioning about what alcohol is and how it's inanimate, and that, like, I got these two things here. I got alcohol on the one hand that's inert, I said initially, and then I amended that to it's inanimate, and then we got the human being on this other hand over here. That's alcohol is inanimate, simple. It depresses the central nervous system. I know that, I think. And then the human being is enormously, tremendously complex. Many, many different systems working seamlessly together to produce consciousness, I guess, in one way. Or it has some effect on that. And then we have freedom of choice thrown on top of that. And I'm an alcoholic. And so I was trying to make a point earlier when I brought this up, is that you got these two things here. And like on the one side of alcohol, you got, it's pretty much a central nervous system depressant, ethanol, ETOH, and then you got human beings. I don't know if we got a chemical equivalent abbreviation, but there's a lot of different types of human beings. There's not that many though, really. In different ways, there's maybe only, I don't know, a couple of handfuls. On two hands with 10 fingers, there might be less than like 10 major groups of human beings. The way their personalities get together and work together for this and that, and the tendency of this and whatever. I've read a lot of books. You'll see that someday. Anyhow, what I'm trying to say is that within these, let's say, 10 different groups of human beings, types of human beings, you got, or within whatever number of human beings there are, you got the alcoholic ones on the one hand, or over here, because I kept saying alcohol over here. You got the alcoholic human beings, and then you got the non-alcoholic, non-addictive type human beings, which isn't fully accurate, but it might be close enough for what I'm trying to say here. Because today's reading here, getting a new life out of Alcoholics Anonymous, and then in the first video I mentioned that, you know, there's a lot of people hacking on AA about we're a cult, yada yada yada, just a bunch of different things. And I said, well, they're entitled to their opinion. It's working for me, and you know, the way it's working for me, I don't know if I could get into that. I brought up Father Martin. He was a Catholic priest, I guess, and he was a alcoholic at some point in his life, or he was a practicing alcoholic, a hammered drunk alcoholic Catholic priest at some point in his life, and he got sober for a very, very long time, and he started trying to help people. What's this book say today? What Alcoholics Anonymous is and what it does, but most importantly, it helps to show me who I am, an alcoholic who needs the constant experience of the Alcoholics Anonymous program, that I may live a life given to me by my higher power. What Father Martin had found along the way is that life is better without alcohol, just like I have found. AA and the presence of a higher power keeps me sober. But the grace of God does even better. It brings service into my life. And part of Father Martin's service was offering a often quite humorous way to recover from addiction, alcohol in particular. And in the Alcoholics Anonymous program. You know, but I don't know if he was married to that. Because, anyways, I bring this guy up because, Father Martin, that is, because he had a real simple, straightforward way of saying things, and I do not. He would say basically, there's three things that we do that keep us sober. And you take like the first 4 steps, 1 through 4, and that's about trusting God. And then you take 5, 6, 7, and 8, and that's about cleaning your house, clean house, this temple we live in, if you want to call it that. It may not seem like a temple at times. And then the last 4 steps is help others, the service part. That's steps 9, 10, 11, and 12. So, trust God, clean house, help others. Real simple. It sounds simple. I know this, when I was drinking, I didn't want to do any of that. I didn't want to trust God. I didn't want to... You know, here's maybe something interesting. That I knew I was doing wrong, man. You know, I mean, at some point I knew inside of me, I knew in my knower that this is wrong, but I couldn't help myself. I couldn't stop. And I just kept on doing it, you know, and that was like the drinking and the thinking that came with the drinking, and then the consequential behavior of the drugged mind working on reality or whatever, working in, it was ugly, man. And I knew it, and I couldn't quit. Until I got into Alcoholics Anonymous. And I quit it was kind of forced upon me in one way. So as soon as I left the inpatient treatment facility that day, I think I started buying grocery store strength beer, which in the state that I was in at the time, the actual location, was 3.2% alcohol. It was like a couple percent less alcohol by volume than what I was used to. It certainly was not the Jägermeister that I really liked, or any of the 80 proof liquor, whatever. Okay, so I thought I had enough tools in the box after graduating treatment, right? And no, man, I just got sober for a while, a couple months, and then went right back to drinking. And it didn't take long for everything to just fall apart. And then I was laid off, and then I drank away my 401k program money, which was everything I'd been working on and for a while, and I went through a gigantic sum of money very quickly and had nothing, and then was facing foreclosure and eviction and all this crap when they take your house away and the sheriff tells you you're trespassing and that kind of thing. And I went back to treatment again. It took 5 years to get to that point, and then my new employer, I buffaloed them with all the same crap, and and they kind of reacted the same way. And we need you, man. So go get yourself fixed up, and then come back. Your job will be here. And they saved my life too, and I'm still sober from that one. And so it's not just those people, unless it was God working through those people. So thank God. Anyways, what is my point, man? Right? A new life. So I had this this time when I left treatment, I immediately took the advice of my counselor, I guess he was, in treatment, and got involved with an aftercare program. So I was a veteran. I went to the same treatment facility again. I had the same regular counselor again, and that probably has you could pick that apart and figure out different things, or I have over the years. I'm not going to get into it here. And at any rate, I listened to what the man was telling me to do to stay sober. And it was basically just do everything the opposite way of I did things the last time I was here. And it worked, and it's still working, and it's working well, I think. Because I was a wreck. And, oh boy, so much ground has been covered in a positive, correct heading now. That's another thing that stops me from drinking, because the fear of losing everything I've gained. Things that, it's not like if I lost this coffee cup, I could just go get another one pretty simply, or even this house. It's the mental and even the physical condition that I've got myself into these days by removing alcohol from my life. What did it say? Try and get this back into life is better without alcohol. Life is better without alcohol for this guy. I'm getting all weepy. So let's see. About the naysayers about Alcoholics Anonymous. That's way back, if you go back and watch part 1 of this video. I didn't have much to say. I didn't think I had, and I may not have said anything really anyways here, but that I didn't feel like doing this video, basically. Let's put it that way. And then once I open my mouth and get to talking, it's a lot like the thirst for alcohol. It just doesn't get satisfied or go away. I do like to get to jabbing on and on, jabbering on and on, however you want to put that. So I said what I could start with is that I do know a lot of people feel differently about Alcoholics Anonymous than I do. And today's reading just sounded like an ad right out of TV or something. AA and the presence of a higher power keeps me sober. The AA program teaches me this, what Alcoholics Anonymous is and what it does. The Alcoholics Anonymous program, you know, it's just like, it gets tiresome sometimes. Okay, and then, you know, people can latch on to things like that very easily and really paint AA with a negative brush color. I don't know how to put that. You know, and that's fine. I felt very against Alcoholics Anonymous when I didn't know anything about it myself. What I know is it saved my life. So maybe there's a sense of I at least owe it a fair shake, right? And so I did that. And now it's been like 20 years. And I keep seeing people come into the program and leave the program. And it's like, well, I don't want to do what that guy did. And, you know, and we're always talking about maybe what keeps us coming back and how we got over that last rough patch in life that we were so tempted to drink again. And by and large, after an amount of time, and possibly because of the program here, the 12 steps, and the new life that we come into, we don't even want to get hammered anymore. Like I was saying, it got me all weepy, and just how appreciative I am with, yes, the material items I've acquired now over the years of being sober, rather than throwing them on the lawn, catching them on fire, cashing in my 401k, and taking off like in that movie, Leaving Las Vegas. Because that's kind of that's who I was. But I mean, it's, yes, the material things that I would lose, certainly, if I started drinking again, because I am an alcoholic. These two different types of people, right? That you got the non-alcoholic types, and then you got the alcoholic types. Of however many different garden variety human being types there are, you know, there's the alcoholic ones and there's the non-alcoholic ones, the non-drinking ones. And what keeps me sober, one of the other things, aside from the Alcoholics Anonymous program, to get away from that commercial aspect of just keep hitting the buzzword, is that all the changes that I saw in other people first, and I thought, man, if that loser can do it, I can probably make an attempt at it, and maybe even surpass this guy's success, because I still very much had a sense of that I wanted to be better than everybody else, you know, because there was some indwelt feeling of inadequacy, I think, back when I was drinking. And so I could talk about this a long time, because it takes me a long time to figure out what I'm talking about, and I don't want to have to put you through that anymore today. I drank for a very bunch of reasons, and when I stopped drinking, the reasons were still there. Alcoholics Anonymous, the way I've been doing my program, be that as it may, the reasons for, if you put it this way, I'm the guy putting it some way, some of the reasons I don't drink anymore is because of the ground I've covered in a positive way, and you know, reaped those rewards, gathered those results of a life of not drinking, and it's right out of the book here today, a new life. yes, there is a substitute, and it is vastly more than that. I believe they're just referencing alcoholism. There's a substitute for that, and it's vastly more than that. And the substitute I'm using is the Alcoholics Anonymous program, and it's taught me through experience by looking at other people in the program that I could probably do the same and better, right? And so I stuck with that in the early years. It's like these people are still getting something that maybe I don't have yet. So I kept coming back to meetings, and I stayed off the booze. As difficult and nonsensical that seemed to me, it's like, why am I doing this program? I don't seem to be getting anywhere, and I just want to get hammered, man. I think I can handle it. And well, that I tried that earlier. I went to treatment once. I came back, started drinking immediately. The drinking got out of hand right away, and then I almost killed myself drinking. And then I came back to the whole program again, just the same everything right there, but with a different perspective. I had hit bottom as low as I cared to go this time, and it was way down there, and it was not easy getting even halfway up to back where I am now. And some days are, anyways, man, blah blah blah. Things are better not drinking for me, and the program I'm operating with these days is much better. I'm going to leave it at that, man, because every topic I'll get, or any, it's just such a huge